义记得跟请举手吧。没有 ，OK， all right. All right. First of all, anyway, welcome all of you. Even though today we have heavy snow, and then still, quite a lot of people turn up. And I thought maybe we just have few cats and dogs here, but anyway. But surprising. I thought maybe some people even changed their mind, maybe turn up tomorrow. Okay. All right. At this, even though we said it's a 5-day of meditation retreat, so I think in the retreat we're supposed to. I think the first day, like tomorrow, say that the second day, that will be that we are going to start to do the meditation of the loving kindness, and usually it very much depends on during the time of Q&A, because after the 3 o'clock, and then we do have arrange the team for the Q&A, and then if most of the people, if they are doing quite manage well with the meditation, especially with the loving kindness meditation, we might be then going to move on doing the compassion meditation the third day, maybe after the lunch. Okay, and it looks like the schedule a little bit packed, because and then after the third day doing the compassion meditation, I guess normally it take a little more time to practice compassion meditation than the loving kindness meditation, and then we would jump to do anyway maybe the fourth day to do the joys meditation. Probably that's like last time my experience tell me that on the last days in the early morning. So in other words, in the last day morning, so we are doing the equanimity meditation. Okay. All right. I think one of the missionary message I need to say is one reason why I think to practice the four sublime abiding meditation is very important, and I think that all of you are actually very lucky, I guess, in a way, that especially if this is your first time to do this method of meditation, and I take that as a very lucky, actually, for all of you. Even though I've been trying to learn meditation in the past, okay, and then and also I try to, of course, try different type of technique, and even including this method. Some of you might been practice this method for a few times. They might heard me to say the same thing again, that especially when I take over the job. I mean, this like being the abbot here, more or less actually is like the executive job, not execution, but executive job. So you really have to face a lot of thing, and you just simply stay in in a very quiet or recluse places. So you have lots of challenges, and then you also face people not necessarily sometimes understand what you want to try to follow your message to, and so on. So lots of problems. So from this problem, there were a few of the techniques will help me to go through with my life. Otherwise, I think I would have depression. I would be maybe, don't think the monk don't have depression, okay? So I maybe have sometimes really like I find that life sometimes you might lose your meaning of your life also. So actually, there are large number of the time is because I still have to practice this four sublime abiding meditation, and help me to see truth. Something. What's the meaning? What's the mission? Basically, like me as a monk, what's the mission for a monk? And then also it's a technique also very much helpful to understand person or people, or even you could say the community, in a much more forgiving way, I would say. at least from one person's perspective. Okay, so in other words, we are here even we are trying to learn just four sobriety meditations, and we highly emphasize on the samadhi, in other words, the jhana, if that's possible for some of you. However, I think much more appropriate to say that we are doing this meditation. The main purpose for meditation is we can use it every moment in our life. Okay, every moment in our life. Okay. So I think that okay, let's just start to say about the posture meditation, the sitting posture first, and then we'll begin to talk about something else. Okay. And then we will just do a little bit meditation, and then you have a very good night, and under this kind of weather and beautiful places, and imagine that you're kind of like sleeping on an open space with the snow covering. I don't know whether that's a beautiful picture to you, but then have a good night, and then next morning we really have to try to focus on our meditation. Okay. All right, just allow me to say the posture first. I usually, when I introduce a posture, I need to remind again and again and again and again. Even though we learn our sitting posture, but while you're really doing your meditation, yeah, you maybe have to take care sometimes a little bit about your posture, but don't pay really, in other words, don't pay too much attention on it. I usually like to use this as a simile, just like you're driving a car. If the first time you learn driving a car, of course your mentor will teach you, or just, or like when you're a little kid. So the teacher will ask you to read a book. You have to sit upright, have the book, and all the posture must be correct and well, and so on. But when you really focus on you're reading a book, or when you really focus on driving a car, especially this is your first time, second time, or third time driving a car on the highway, and of course I don't want you to look at your body. Am I sit nicely? Did I sit handsomely, or whether I sit very, very, very appropriate? No, you don't have to focus that too much. So you have to try to finish job. And then, in other words, you have to try to drive a car. You're on a highway, you need to just reach your destination. And then when you finish your destination, you can look at your posture, whether you're doing okay, I think that is one of the suggestions for your guy, because it's very often when I start to talk about a posture, especially, this is how our minds go in, especially when I emphasize too much of the postures, and people, they sit, meditate, and then after some time, if they find the posture is not correct or what, they will do it again, and then do it again, and then again. The whole period of time is just adjusting the posture. So you get, in other words, it's supposed to be that you have to be focused on your mind, and then you actually, your mind trick you again, ask you to pay attention on, focus on your body posture, and then you keep on just adjusting, and especially you will find this content, you are not very happy about your posture. And after a certain time, and you get annoyed, actually. You will get annoyed, and you think, oh, I don't have a good posture like the other person. So, and then you will very discourage your meditation. So remember that, okay? So, and I also observed myself that I observed that there were, traditionally, there are some other very great masters who are meditate very well. You cannot actually really measure them with your standard of, basically, your standard of about the sitting posture. They might have a really bad posture, but their meditation is very powerful. Okay, after understand that, now I said that again. When you start to do loving kindness meditation, you adjust your posture. And then, of course, if you're aware you need to adjust your posture, you know that you're aware that already, and then you can adjust. But don't do that again and again. Especially don't deliberately look at your posture after when you started to do your meditation. But you could just deliberately, I would say, or just only focus on your meditation method. Okay. All right. Usually when we talk about posture, we have, usually we set about there 9, what we call 7 7 portions of the body we need to take care of. Start from the head is that the first we say that the center of your top of your head has to be facing to the sky, or sometimes we have to say or heavens. So, and in other words, you say that you have to keep your head upright. Okay, and then the second second portion is that you close your mouth. So unless you really cannot breathe, and then you have to open your mouth because you have you sneeze or what. Otherwise, you just close your mouth, and also to begin with, you lightly clench your teeth. So after when you lightly clench your teeth, you do feel you kind of like you can pull your muscle on a right proportion way. And then also your tongue. If you like to, you can rest your tongue as normal, but especially if you practice samadhi, people might aware that if you sit long, very long time, your tongue somehow is kind of like the body reaction, you know. It's that your tongue will automatically press against the palate. Okay, so you might, but it's fine. If you, to start with, you can just close your mouth, lightly clench your teeth. Don't bite your teeth so hard, and then press your tongue against the palate, or you may choose not to do so, or you may just roll your tongue. Okay. But the reason why you press your tongue against the palate is because even if people, when one day you go to a place that you don't have water, so you do find that it really works for you, that sometimes you really feel dry your throat. If you press your tongue against the palate for a little time, it generates saliva much quicker than when you rest your tongue. Okay? So in other words, you could say that you press your tongue against the palate just to help you to wet your throat. Okay. All right, that's the second portion. And the third one, we need to how to keep our neck more upright. The way to keep your neck upright is just to press your chin, what we call tuck your chin. So when you tuck your chin, so that's it keeps the neck more upright. So, right, the head, just keep it upright basically, and then close your mouth, lightly clench your teeth, press the tongue against the palate, and then you tuck your chin, right? And the fourth position usually go with the fifth one. That means we need to drop the shoulders, because if you really let your shoulder drops, the way we say that if you drop the shoulder basically, if you can pull your shoulder down, and if you tilt your shoulder, you still feel the tense there. So you really have to really let your shoulder drops. But in order to help your shoulder drops, one other part is very important, is that you have to feel the elbows really drops. Okay. Say that if you put your hand this way, really in the front, so you do feel that the tense on your forearms. So that unless you really have a long arms, that you could keep your arms this way. So the important is that if you, normally what we say that is the best thing is to keep these hands more close to you, more close to your body. So you could feel that your hand is really relaxed, because the gravity is from your elbows, okay? The center of the center is from your elbows. So that's how you keep your relaxed. Not only that, it also, in addition, it also helps you to pull the shoulder down. So if you keep your arms this way, your shoulder will be tense, right? More stiff. But if you keep your arms back, more close to you, how do you feel? You do feel that it helps you to pull your shoulder down too. Okay. Now, even though it pulls your shoulder down, another thing that we need to mention also, you have to also try to open your chest. So you are not doing this way. Yeah, but you have to open your chest. So sometimes you don't know how much the chest you need to be open. What we are doing for some beginner is that you just keep your arms beside you, and then you just rest your palm the way you like to. If you want to rest your palm this way, you like to rest your palm this way, you like to rest your palm this way, that's fine. But first let your shoulder open, and let your chest open, and then drop your shoulder. Okay. So there are one on the head, second on your mouth, the third, on your neck, that means you tuck your chin, let the shoulder drops, open your chest. That's the fourth one. And then the fifth position is that you keep your palms, okay, or how you place your hands, but actually the focus is on your elbows. Okay. So the five. Now the sixth one is how you keep your body upright. So in order to keep your body upright, sit upright, to begin with meditate, you have to tuck in your belly. Normally, some people do inhaling or exhaling. You tuck in your belly, but if you can't do it together, simultaneously you tuck in your belly, and then also you need to pull up the very low part of your, I don't know whether I'm allowed to say that, like actually you're pulling your anus. So you just have to kind of like keep it tight, hold it tight, and also tuck in your belly. Then you relax it, your whole thing. Then you feel that you can sit really, very freely upright. Okay, get it now? All right, the last one, which is normally bothering a lot of people, especially if you're going to sit for a long time in meditation. That is the how do you call this? Like the sitting, how you rest your feet, right? How you rest your leg. Of course, some people might be able to do the full lotus meditation, and then of course then you may sit on the full lotus. But if you've never done the full lotus, please don't try it here. Okay. This is not a competition about how well you're doing. If there's such a thing that you need to take care of, is you take care of your mind later about your meditation. Okay. But you just sit comfortable. This is most important. I would suggest there were many ways to sit very comfortable. Okay. But of course, if you're used to sit full lotus, and then you do the full lotus. But if you're used to sit as the what we call the half lotus, and then you may do so. But otherwise, you just sit very comfortable. If you want to practice a full lotus and half lotus, please do that at home. I would suggest don't start with when you're doing meditation, but start with when you're reading a book, when you want to sit there and do something else, right? Like you're watching a TV, you want to watch something, or you want to just read a book. That will be easier. You have to get used to it. Let your muscle to get used to. Okay. All right. One way of doing that to sit more freely. So beside like full lotus and half lotus, it's you could just rest your leg, one on the behind, one on the front. Okay. One on the behind, one on the front, either left or right, that's fine. But just rest one leg is behind, one leg is on the front. That's one way of doing it. And normally I notice quite often people like to meditate also, just like crossing their leg a little bit, But I myself find that if crossing the leg, I usually don't do either full lotus or half lotus, so it doesn't bother me. But I want to say, but sometimes even if I sit in this way, crossing the leg, I find that actually is much difficult for me. But I noticed in the past, especially in earlier time when we started doing meditation here, a lot of people, they like to sit like crossing the leg. But if you can, try to learn it like one leg on the back, one leg on the front, it might be much easier. And after that, if you feel that you feel your leg is a little bit more flexible, you might be just do like a half lotus meditation. But you might be just bend a little bit like this. Okay, don't try to immediately bend it this way, right? So it's maybe just do a little bit. So that's my helping you. And beside those postures, you also can rest your neck, rest your leg behind. Okay, you just put it behind. So, which I don't do it at all, almost. But I mean, if you feel uncomfortable. But if you really want to do that, you can push two legs behind too. Okay. So I mean, like a little, especially usually when you are a kid, that's how sometimes they sit. You put one leg behind and you put another leg behind. Right? They can sit it this way, right? So if you want to, you might do this also. And if you still feel the sitting posture not comfortable enough for you after some time of sitting, so you can actually even use this cushion. For example, you can use this cushion. Let's say if you bend, sit it like, I don't know what you call this. Anyone know the English term? Yeah, I just say Japanese Seisan, yeah. Just like lean, like a Japanese, yeah, like a Japanese. I also think this is Japanese Seisan, but I don't know whether there are any other terms. And so you just knee, okay. But sometimes it's also very comfortable. I don't ask you to sit comfortable. I mean, I ask you to sit comfortable. Don't only look for the comfortable. But anyway, sometimes if you find that you need to, you could also use the cushion. Just, even though you do Japanese seisan, you say that?
Seisan.
Seisan, okay. You also can just sit on it, okay? When you have a cushion in between your butt and your leg. So sometimes some people, this time, I think he hasn't arrived yet, sometimes they do have a kind of chair also. They sit the way like they're riding a horse also. So those are all actually, I would say in the modern time. I'm not sure during the Buddha times, how many sitting posture are they. But of course, when we look at the statue, only we are aware there might be just few of them. But for sure nowadays, you might be just, you can sit any type of posture. But the important is that you have to feel really stable and comfortable, okay? And sometimes you really need to, you also can sit on a bench, okay? And when you sit on a bench, I also still suggest you try not to lean against the wall, okay? Sometimes we think that, oh, because we lean against a wall, so we feel more comfortable. Actually, you start to become much more lazy. So that's what we call the heedlessness. Once you have more support to your body, you'll find that you easily lose your mindfulness or your focus, because you feel a kind of comfort. That kind of comfort will make you feel like fall asleep, okay? Or the drowsiness easily comes to you. And that's one of the reasons why, like tomorrow morning when we take the 8 precepts, and when you guys take the 8 precepts, we see it. That's one reason why that in the 8 precepts suggests you not to sleep on a comfortable bed, and sit in basically mean that sit on like a big and comfortable bed, and then sit on the, kind of like a big place, the comfortable place. Yeah, maybe you feel nice at first, but your mind, you'll find later on, it's very hard to continue to focus your mind, okay? So the less support you have on your body, actually, it's kind of like you're practicing the middle path, that you are not really rely on them to make you feel comfort, but you have to learn how to train your mind so that you feel comfortable, actually. Okay? That has to come from a mind, not from the material that supports you. All right, that is for the sitting posture. Okay. Now, let me address, after sitting posture, let's address the walking. Because of the weather, usually when we have a retreat, like in the winter time, so we do have a little restriction. One restriction is that we are not able to use the Great Buddha Hall to do meditation. Otherwise, usually when we have more than about 60 people participate in meditation, so we would do the meditation, in the Great Buddha Hall. And because of heating system thing, and once if we want to use a heating system in Great Buddha Hall, maybe 2 days would cost about $1,000, something like that. So, and also, actually, it takes about at least 2 days to heat up the place too. Anyway, so, but that's why at this, whenever we run the meditation in the winter time, the difficult is that, but if you want to do walking meditation, especially like tomorrow program, you have about 3 hours. Some people, they like to sit continuously for 3 hours. But if you have the problem to sit for that long, you might just sit 1 hour, or maybe just half hour, whatever. And you want to do, then you need to go to do your walking meditation, because you really, you need to get yourself to get used to yourself, And then please do the walking meditation to go to the Buddha Hall to do walking meditation. So and then remember when you go out, and then you need to be, the same thing, everything has to be doing mindfully. Now what does it mean by the mindfully? It means you have to be aware of everything, the more the possible you are, the more the possible you are. Now, for example, I'm sitting, at first, before we really do the loving kindness, we haven't taught how to do loving kindness meditation yet, but those are very important. After when you are doing the sitting posture, so I'm going to say that again later, but then you will learn a way how to do relaxation first, okay? Because after doing the relaxation, that actually itself is not enough. After the relaxation, you must be able to find a way that you feel, anyway, you feel a kind of like peaceful there, or a kind of like calm or serene feelings there. Some people do that because that kind of feeling might come to you just right after when you relax. But some people might feel that they have to be like, keep the awareness around, basically like listen to the sound. They might hear some people are moving, some sound is going on here and there, but that after all, still the whole place is like very quiet, right? So, and then they might listen to the silence, okay? And after some time listening to the silence, and then the mind get really calm down. And then you can, from there, then you begin to do the loving kindness meditation that I will address later, okay? Now, or other way, actually, I forgot to mention, or you might be sitting there, and then you have to aware that your posture. So, for example, if I'm sitting this way. So, and I just had to aware my feet is in contact with my cushion. And then my other part should really keep intact with my leg, my feet, my heel actually. And then how many contact places I have, like my armpits, right? There's a keep to contact. My palms, and also my hands also has some contact or with my thigh, like that. So you're aware, maybe aware one part, two part, or every part of it. Or my clothes, for example. So I'm wearing this coat, and my coat actually really, keep intact with my neck, like that. So in all this awareness will keep you really calm down. Now, say that if I want to start to do walking meditation, because I wanted you to do walking meditation with your mindfulness. So we do have a specific term for that, but so. And you have to still aware that I want to stand up, okay? Say that I want to stand up, you have to aware that you want to stand up. And then when you stand up, you're moving. Say that, my moving, say that, because I'm sitting in this posture. My moving definitely may be doing this, right? I know that my hand is doing this. I don't mean you have to do exactly the same thing as I just give you a demonstration that you have to aware it. And then maybe I start to tilt my shoulder a little bit, and I know I tilt my shoulder a little bit because I want to bend my body, okay? And then I know that my hand is moving down and pressing on that, let's say one of the cushion, and then my support, I tilt my body a little bit, and then whatever. So I would just, in other words, every posture you're doing very slowly. I won't say very slowly, but slowly, and then you know very well, and then you just want to stand up. And especially stand up is very important. Where you stand, the feet always know that your feet is really here, okay? I don't know whether people are aware of this. Let me tell one story. Because especially after when you do a meditation, your mind, this is how I believe, your mind getting very strong actually, your will is very strong. So if you stand up, say that if I sit in this way, and then if I want to stand up, but if I don't focus on my feet, sometimes you focus on there, right? And then of course you lost your control on your feet. And it can be that even though you're, not because your feet is numb or what, but you just focus still on there. And you don't have a good control with your feet, what happens? You fall. Actually, if you have a mindfulness, usually it's funny when the fall away is your mind was thinking that part already, okay? So that's why I say always remind, you will never fall, even though you might have a really, really pain feet or really, really, sleepiness, feet. If you know my feet is here, you will never fall, you just stand. You know what I'm saying? But some people, when they stand, they will worry something else, they look at some other part, the mind, look at some other part especially, and you fall. Okay? Especially when you lost control with your feet. Get it now? So while you're doing the standing meditation, well, not standing, while you start to do walking meditation, when you stand, remember again, repeat this again. You have to first know, my feet is here, okay? And then my another feet is here. That you definitely never fall, okay? Now this is very important, especially when people getting older. Really important. So have to make sure your feet is really, you have to know my feet should be there only when you're really grounded and you start to do walking meditation. Okay? Okay? All right, and try, you might be some people who wear a lot of the clothes, maybe making sound. I don't know if you have, you cannot change it because of weather. So that's all right. But if you do have some other change, for example, that try to wear something less, you know, because there are some clothes material have more fraction. When you wear a lot of sounds, but there might be something disturb people. But it's fine. But if you don't have, that's all I have, and that's all I have here. But you know, but I just say that we need to aware that we need to aware that as well. Okay. All right. When you do your walking meditation, you stand up, and then you want to turn, you turn, and then you just walk. And please don't haste yourself. Just do slowly. Try to. This is because the floor is making of the wood. Try to really not to make too much noise, like a qigong. I don't know how to say in English. Anyway, you definitely, you know, like I'm sure you learn how to walk like when you want to sneak away, right? Or when you want to sneak in. So you don't want to make any sounds that people discover you. But of course you don't have to carry your shoe inside. So you just walk very slowly. Okay, when you're walking, you have to know this foot is walking, that foot is in action, this foot is in action, that foot is in action. Okay? Don't do that like left and right. Don't use the name, don't use the number. Just really know directly what happened there. This foot is walking and that foot is walking. And then when you see the door, you want to push the door open, aware the sound too, and then just know your hand is on the door. You feel the contact with the door, right? Push it, and then you know your actions. This is how you always keep yourself in the mindfulness so that you can practice a meditation much easier, okay? All right, so the rest I'm not going to say, but you need to do your practice. Now, normally when you go to the Greek Buddha house, usually you can do walking meditation outside, but I think in this weather it's not suggest, especially when you have thick snow, okay? So, and then when you go to a Greek Buddha hall while you're doing your walking meditation, always try to find a straight line, okay? And don't try to do walking meditation in front of the people like this. Don't do like a T. You know that people are walking this line, and then you want to walk this line, okay? So try to, of course, it's never be ideal, but just try to make just a line. And don't try to walk too long, also like from that direction to that direction, that's too long. The longer maybe from that direction to this direction, or either just from that direction to here, okay? They have a purpose, I mean, for beginners. When you do your walking meditation, if it's too long, anyway, just learn to that, don't do it too long. Now, when you start with, you have to walk moderately, otherwise walk, in other words, walk with leisurely, the way that you used to walk. Maybe a little slower than the way you usually walk. I mean, I'm not competing with you while you're walking in Manhattan, okay? Do you need to rush? No, I mean that you just, like you really leisurely, are free, and you want to take a stroll on a park, like that. So you just walk leisurely. Now, when you first walk leisurely, you can keep your arms, the palms, the hands either this way, or even you can just rest beside you, or you can keep on the back. Some people even they like to keep it this way. That's fine. As I say, even if you keep this way, still have to feel gravity is from your elbows. Okay, don't do this. This is tense. But if you want to do this, some people, if they do this, they do feel there's a gravity from elbows too. That's okay. Okay. And then when you walk, you know that you're going to walk, and then you just start. Either you start from left foot or right foot, that's fine. So let's say you know this is a foot, you know that's a foot. But I would usually suggest you first just know the left foot and right foot and left foot and right foot. So, and then walk. Okay, when you stop, always learn to stop, because in tradition we always turn only one side, the right side. Actually, lots of religion will say the same way. They always learn to turn the right side, like clockwise. Okay, when you want to turn it clockwise. Don't turn anti-clockwise. Okay. Because if you want to turn it clockwise, I'm in tradition, unless you have a reason. I got some other reason because my brain has certain dysfunction, so I only can turn the left side. Anti-clockwise, that's another story. Otherwise, please just turn it clockwise. Okay. When you want to turn it clockwise, when you come to the end of the point, say that this is the point that I want to say that this is the, I'm going to turn here. Always remember your left foot will be the last step, okay? Try to, okay? Because you're going to turn clockwise, but if your left foot on the last step, then you will not repeat your right foot again. So, get it now? Yeah? So, and then when you turn, please don't turn this way, okay? So, they do have the reason, especially if you learn some other technique. So it's that you just maybe move one leg foot, your right foot, your feet or foot? Your right foot first. And then the foot comes, right? And then, because since you want to go back this side, as I say, you want to walk a straight line, and then you just turn again. Okay? Right? And then either you want to start with the left foot or right foot, that's fine. But always end with the last step will be the left foot. Okay? Right. When you get, if you find that it's very easy for you, you know, I'm walking, I can easily just aware this foot is walking, that foot is in action, that foot is in action, and so on. Let's say I want to turn, and I know I want to turn, and I turn, and I stand, I know I'm standing. If I want to turn again, let's say I want to turn, and I'm turning, and I know very well everything, right? And then I just, let's say I want to walk back here. So when you find that you can make it very easily to aware this, and then you start to, if you can, always just try a little bit slower. Because sometimes just walk a little slower. This is my way of thinking. So when you start to walk a little slower, it maybe helps you to kind of like force you to be more aware of your feet. Okay. Then when you walk slower, you have to, now this time you have to aware three things. One thing that when your feet is lifting, stepping, okay? When I say stepping, I mean lifting, stepping down, and then you know the contact on the floor, okay? So, and then I think I would suggest you also kind of like knowing that really ground on the floor, not like this. Wobble, no, your feet is completely really placed on the floor. And then you start the other feet, okay? So, and then in other way you have to aware the lifting, stepping down, and contact, lifting, stepping down, contact, lifting, stepping down, contact, and so on. So, but if you find that it's also not very difficult for you, walk slower again, walk slower again. Well, for exercise purpose, but of course we are not here to talk about the body health, but for exercise purpose, actually the slower you walk, it requires more part of the muscle, you know, exercise. So people think, oh, maybe I walk very slow, it doesn't work. No, actually, the slower you do, it requires much muscle, and also especially the nerve system attention also. Okay, if you find that you're doing that fine, walk slower and slower. Usually you'll find if you want to really walk very slow, if this feet is not really grounded well, it's very hard for you to walk slow, you know what I'm saying? Because you have to be really grounded well, and then you want to walk slow, then you just know slow. At that time, you might try to aware there are many steps out there. I don't think that is necessarily to say how many steps, but traditionally, you will knowing that you are lifting, pushing, stepping down, and fully step down, and contact. Okay, contact is very important, to know the contact. Not just saying that, okay, I step down. No, the contact is very important. In the future, you know why. Okay. Now just follow the system on it. You have to be able to know there's your feet is keep contact on the floor. Okay. It's really important, okay, in the future. But anyway, now you just know, maybe after some time, you find that you can walk slower and then you can aware that really well. Then you don't have to really count like a step, how many steps. You just have to know whole movement of your feet. Okay. So you see, when I walk, actually your feet started to lift. You maybe change this way. And then there's a movement, different way, you know. And then stepping down. I'm not stepping down, actually my whole feet like an elephant. No, actually it's really, you know, every step is there. And then you just know everything. So in other words, I mean, this is one of very important way to build up your well, or your sati, mean your mindfulness, your awareness, very, very well. Okay. Now, once you do so, usually you're much easier to focus not only your feet, but then you start to much easier to focus your body. You know your body, everything you know your body. You know your finger, how you rest your finger now, and the sensation of the whole body you can easily aware. Okay. All right. Now you do your walking meditation, since you practice a loving kindness meditation. Maybe that will come to people ask me, but usually they ask me in the Q&A, but I think at this stage I just mentioned. If this is your first time to practice this technique, you just do your walking meditation and then you come back. Okay? But if you are really not the first time and then say that you practice your loving kindness meditation, you're doing quite okay, you actually can just do your loving kindness meditation while you're doing your walking meditation too. Okay? But now I'm not going to mention it at the moment. I mean that you can interchange. Okay? That I don't need to aware my feet. But of course, since your awareness are good enough, you can still even walking, but you're still practicing your loving kindness meditation. Okay? Now, at this stage, I would suggest you, when you go into the Greek Buddha Hall to do walking meditation, don't do walk unless you really need to sometimes, but try to back to do more sitting meditation. Because to learn the loving kindness meditation or force alive body meditation, the best way to begin to learn is while you're sitting. Okay? Okay, maybe the closest me to say is that, like when we study, you know, the easier way for us to study or to read a book is while we are sitting, okay? Not while we are walking. But I'm not saying this that you cannot study while you're walking. But usually those are only for people who really know the subject quite okay, and while they're walking, they still can think about the subject matter, right? So sitting posture is one of the very important for when you practice your loving kindness meditation. Okay, another thing I need to mention, of course, in a certain other tradition, they have a way to say that, you know, a kind of meditation. Some technique maybe pay more attention on walking, some technique maybe pay more attention on your sitting, even some technique maybe pay more attention, or they interchange each other and so on. Okay, but if that is a way to say, then the loving kindness meditation is a technique that will pay more attention on sitting. So in other words, in order to not let you to still keep on your mind in a flow with the mindfulness or with the mind that still have the, what I call the meditative mind, then you do walking meditation because you cannot sit there anymore. But also please remember, don't think that you are the loser, that's why you do walking meditation. No, okay? Don't think that. Why I want to mention this? I know that even in the past experience here, some they do that. They cannot sit here well. They really feel painful. They really feel uncomfortable, but they just don't want to do walking meditation. And they just want to fight and fight. So when you're, especially, unless you're really doing some other insight meditation, you'll be observe something else. I'm talking in terms of the technique of the force alive body meditation. You're supposed to do loving kindness meditation or compassion, or say that loving kindness meditation with the joyful mind, but you're fighting there all the time, so it doesn't help you. Okay. So if you really find that, oh, my leg is really trouble me, and I don't have patience to stay anymore, and okay, stand up and just do your walking meditation, and don't think that, oh, I'm not good. No, don't. Those are the unnecessary thinking. Okay. I always tell people there is, even though how long you can sit on the floor, okay, even though how long you can sit, you still bound to feel you need to stand up, okay, and take a walk, okay. So some people might take 1 hour, some people might take 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. So it's very important to know. It's much more important to guard your mind than to think about something unnecessarily. So the difference between the people who really know the meditation and not knowing the meditation, I always suggest and remind the people, is one take that really is always meditation. Okay, now my feet is aching to me. Now this is not my moment, and he knows this is not my moment. Oh, now I just need to stand up, then I stand up, and I just need to walk. Everything is meditation to them. Okay. And the other is maybe if they are not used to, they might get worried. Oh, my leg is getting problem. I will hurt my leg. I will get this problem. I get those problems. See? So I don't know whether you believe or not, but my understanding is actually, how can you get a problem while you're sitting there? Can you? But if that really can strain your body, it's only one. It's because you don't know. Just like when the people just awake from the sleep, right, on the bed. So our conscious still not able to aware the physical, or of course by the physiologists say that because of blood circulation. I really don't believe that basically, but anyway. I don't believe it, I don't take that really as the main reason. So it's, but you, for sure that you cannot just when you wake up from the bed and then you suddenly want to run, right? Unless you've been trained to do so, that your mind always. So otherwise, the same thing. If you feel the leg pain or what, or you just move it, change your posture. And then if you think that you want to do walking meditation, slowly and just start to stand, as I just mentioned. Keep your feet grounded on the floor, and then you start to do your walking meditation. It will never hurt you, okay? But it's only if it hurt your physical body, just because you fall. You really you're supposed to do slowly, you stretch your body. No, you don't, you just do it slowly, okay? Then you will be fine. Okay, we should take I don't think we have anything to talk about posture. So we have about 10 minutes break. We should come back here to do a very little loving kindness meditation at 9 o'clock. We'll call for a day, okay? And then tomorrow we can start to do. So the posture will be done, regarding to the posture. So yeah, please back here by 10 minutes if you want to, but if you like to stay here, you just stay here. But for those especially who wanted to go to the restroom, and please go to the restroom now and then back here in 10 minutes time. And then we can just do about, I think only 25 minutes of loving kindness meditation, and then we call for a night, and we start tomorrow early morning.